Hey everyone, welcome back to Anime Dreams, your go-to channel for anime fanfiction. In today's video, we're diving into an exciting fanfic topic: what if Naruto's power surged to godlike levels during the Chunin exam training? Part 2. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any of the anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits go to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's jump right in. Naruto observed as the ninjas swiftly engaged in combat, reacting to the sudden appearance of Suna and Sound ninjas during the invasion. His attention shifted to Temari and Kankuro, who swiftly took Gaara and headed for the village's forests. Suddenly, a loud explosion echoed, drawing Naruto's gaze upward to a purplish barrier materializing out of nowhere. Determined to get a closer look, Naruto leapt off the ground, bounding from wall to wall until he reached the barrier, a four-flame formation, as he identified. Within the barrier, Naruto noticed four shinobi maintaining it. The first was a hefty individual with orange eyes and a distinctive hairstyle, clad in Sound 4 attire. Then there was a girl with wild red hair and a black hat, dressed similarly to her comrades. Next, a man with 6 arms, sporting a circle symbol on his tunic, caught Naruto's eye. Lastly, a man with 2 heads, one seemingly asleep, stood out with his unique appearance and attire. As Naruto's gaze penetrated the barrier, shock washed over him. Inside, he saw his Jiji battling Hashirama, Tobirama, and Orochimaru. Determined not to let his mentor fight his family, Naruto sprinted towards the barrier, disregarding the insults hurled by the red-haired woman. Executing hand signs swiftly, Naruto activated a sealing jutsu, temporal distortion. His glowing hand touched the barrier, causing it to adjust, allowing him and another person to pass through. Rushing into the battle, Naruto focused on Hashirama, who was gearing up for a Makuten attack. Acting swiftly, Naruto infused chakra into his body, his hand igniting with blue fire as he moved towards his sensei. Sealing the Shinigami's confinement. With a swift motion, Naruto plunged his hand into Hashirama's armor, cleaving through the lifeless body and scattering tiny paper-like cells into the air. As Hashirama crumpled to the ground, Naruto couldn't help but grimace at the less-than-ideal view for a battle. Using a branch conjured by his sensei's would-release secret technique, Naruto landed gracefully, ready for the next onslaught. The technique allowed him to summon trees anywhere, from rooftops to oceans, offering versatile combat options. A sudden impact to his jaw sent Naruto hurtling through the forest, crashing into trees and branches. As he struggled to free himself from a tree's embrace, Tobirama, his sensei, appeared before him. Summoning 10 shadow clones, Naruto quickly directed them to assist his grandfather, Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was facing the cunning Orochimaru. With a stern command, Naruto urged his clones to be cautious of Orochimaru's deceptive tactics. Turning his attention back to Tobirama, Naruto readied himself for a challenging spar. Tobirama, unable to control his body but still able to communicate, complimented Naruto's progress despite placing a genjutsu on him. Unfazed, Naruto revealed his own strategy, swiftly maneuvering behind Tobirama and applying the sealing restriction of the Shinigami technique. With Tobirama incapacitated, Naruto dashed off to support his grandfather in battle. As Naruto departed, Tobirama, though defeated, wore a subtle smile, acknowledging Naruto's growth and determination. The stage was set for a fierce clash between Hiruzen and Orochimaru, with Naruto's strategic interventions shaping the course of the battle. The third Hokage panted heavily, struggling to keep pace with his former student Orochimaru, knowing that his aging body would eventually betray him. Dodging the incoming barrage of snakes launched by Orochimaru, Hiruzen observed a Naruto clone swiftly kick a stray snake away before being dispelled by Orochimaru, who then lunged at him with a lethal kick. Even though Hiruzen recognized it as Naruto's clone, the sight of his unofficial grandson's neck seemingly snapping was unnerving. Reacting swiftly, Hiruzen spun his adamantine staff in a full circle, deflecting the snakes Orochimaru had unleashed. He dispatched another Naruto clone with his Kusanagi blade before Orochimaru could strike again. Orochimaru, however, grinned as he cut down the remaining Naruto clones that had rushed to aid Hiruzen, noting that they didn't vanish after he dispatched Tobirama to deal with Naruto. Had Naruto hidden somewhere? Regardless, Tobirama would soon eliminate him. Amidst his amusement, Orochimaru pointed his katana, the Kusanagi blade, at his sensei. The blade had the typical katana shape, adorned with black cloth around the handle and white diamonds along the sides, with a plain gold circle as the guard. Its blade was black with a white edge at the base. "Hiruzen, your time is up," Orochimaru taunted, charging at his sensei with his sword aimed forward. However, he was abruptly halted by a powerful kick to the back of his head, sending him hurtling towards the barrier, only to be saved by a summoned snake. Turning to his unexpected assailant, Orochimaru was astonished to see Naruto Uzumaki, his green jacket in tatters and his black long-sleeved shirt riddled with tears. "Sorry, Orochimaru, but I won't allow you to harm the Hokage," Naruto declared, gathering chakra within his coils. "As a shinobi of Konoha, it's my duty to uphold the will of fire, a lesson instilled by my senseis. I won't let their teachings go in vain." With determination blazing in his eyes, Naruto activated his technique. "Flash step!" shouted Naruto as he disappeared from everyone's sight. Soon Orochimaru felt a blinding pain in his ribs as he was sent flying from one end of the purple flames formation to the other, however this time he actually hit the barrier. "Ah!" screamed Orochimaru as he bounced off of the barrier, showing his now burnt left arm, which had begun to bleed as Orochimaru's arm peeled. Orochimaru looked for Naruto, only to see him on the ground holding his stomach, along with his sensei guarding him. Hiruzen moved as soon as he saw Naruto fall to his knees and grab his stomach. "Naruto, my boy, are you okay?" asked Hiruzen as he kept his eyes on Orochimaru, who had started to look towards them. Naruto huffed and he tried to draw chakra out of Hashirama's trees. He knew that his technique, which was just an upgraded Shunshin, had not been tested in the field, but he didn't think that the effects would be this bad. He hadn't taken into the account of the uneven flooring, which had forced him to change direction several times within his single flash step. "Yay, I'm fine. Just going to have to gather some chakra." "You wouldn't have a chakra pill on you?" asked Naruto as he watched his Gigi drop a single pill onto a tile in front of him. Nodding gratefully towards his Gigi, he swallowed the pill and instantly felt his chakra start to return. He was definitely going to get put into the hospital for chakra exhaustion. Standing up, Naruto quickly flared his chakra to start healing his minor wounds at a faster rate as he already had Kyuubi's chakra healing him. Naruto looked towards Orochimaru, noticing something that he didn't notice before while he was gathering some chakra. The Kusanagi wasn't in Orochimaru's hand. Naruto heard a swish behind him and widened his eyes. The Kusanagi blade was flying towards his Gigi. Naruto jumped forward and pushed him out of the way, surprising the Hokage as he watched Naruto get the Kusanagi pulled through him. Hiruzen watched as Naruto passed out from the pain of having a sword go through his left shoulder. Orochimaru grew even more pissed. He was aiming for his sensei, but the brat had pushed him out of the way and instead gotten himself stabbed. Orochimaru watched as Hiruzen suddenly started to cough blood out from his mouth. It seemed the Kusanagi blade's poison was finally taking its effect. Hiruzen covered his mouth with a hand as he coughed out blood, which some of it landed on Naruto's face. He was going to die without medical treatment, and if he died Orochimaru could kill Naruto afterwards. He knew what he was going to do. Looking towards his student, Hiruzen hardened his eyes as he started to go through a chain of hand signs. Looking fiercely towards Orochimaru's eyes, Hiruzen had flashbacks of how his student started and how he had ended, and could only become more determined as he watched through all of the innocent people being used as guinea pigs by him. "Orochimaru, too long have I let you live. As my final act of Hokage I will kill you, by taking you to hell with me," shouted Hiruzen towards the end of his speech as he finished his hand signs. Orochimaru, who had noticed what jutsu used those hand signs, widened his eyes in fear. Throwing the Kusanagi blade towards Hiruzen before he completed the jutsu, he watched as Genma had deflected the katana before dispersing due to limited chakra. "Dead demon consuming seal," shouted Hiruzen as the specter of the Shinigami started to appear. before getting feeling someone swapping places with him using the replacement technique. Hiruzen looked towards the Shinigami he had summoned and widened his eyes when he saw the specter's hand being placed through Naruto's stomach. The Shinigami was a translucent giant specter with a demonic visage. It was much larger than an average human, possessing long, shaggy white hair, from which 2 red horns protrude, and dark grayish-blue colored skin. It is draped in large white garments and carries a set of prayer beads. The Shinigami also had a tanto in its mouth. The Shinigami stared at Naruto with squinted eyes. "Why have you summoned me, human?" asked the Shinigami as he looked towards the blonde child in front of him. He did look familiar though. Naruto looked ahead as he stared into Orochimaru's eyes. "I want to seal Orochimaru into you," said Naruto as he watched the figure look towards Orochimaru and squint a bit harder before opening his eyes back to normal. "Ah yes. The one who avoids me by transferring bodies," muttered the Shinigami. Naruto quickly formed his hands into a certain hand sign, which made the remaining Naruto clones paralyzes Orochimaru with multiple seals that he made the clones prepare during his and Hiruzen battle against Orochimaru. Naruto looked towards the Shinigami before nodding. He watched as the Shinigami's ghostly hand shot through him and straight at Orochimaru as he was attempting to move only to fail. As the ghostly hand grabbed Orochimaru and started to pull his spirit out, Orochimaru decided to become a bastard. "I will not die here!" screamed Orochimaru as he made his discarded Kusanagi blade once again sail towards Naruto, who had only widened his eyes before feeling the blade punch right through his right lung. Naruto coughed out blood from his mouth as his lungs started to fill with blood. Naruto tried to focus on Orochimaru as he used his chakra to pull his being out from him using the Shinigami's hand, however he couldn't even see Orochimaru now. All he could see was a white blur ahead of him with a blue blur connecting him and the white being, which he knew was Orochimaru. "Come on, Naruto. You can do this!" shouted Naruto to himself as he forced his chakra to pull whatever he had latched onto. Only to feel his control slip and instead of pulling out Orochimaru's head, chest and arms, he only managed to pull the arms off him. As the Shinigami went to cut Naruto's soul in half as eat it, he felt something off. Before grinning a bit before disappearing, while leaving Naruto's soul intact, although nobody knew that as Naruto just simply fell towards the ground. Orochimaru was livid when he tried to surge chakra to his body. He hadn't felt his arms, all he felt was an unholy pain where his arms were. He then realized what had happened. He lost his ability to use chakra in his arms, he lost his arms. He lost the one thing that mattered to him. His jutsus. Orochimaru was about to have Naruto's head before he felt a chakra surge coming a few feet from him. Turning his head, he was shocked to see what he did. He saw his sensei with nothing but a pure blank expression, although he now had brown pigments going across from his forehead and down the middle of his nose. Hiruzen just looked at Orochimaru's arms as they slowly start to turn purple. Hiruzen slowly turned his eyes towards Orochimaru, who had instantly called the shinobi holding the barrier to help him escape. However, he didn't see Hiruzen smash his face into the ground. Hiruzen looked at his student with nothing for a few moments, before a raging hatred appeared across his features. "I was weak, Orochimaru. I was weak for letting you live because you were my favorite student. I had turned a blind eye at your experiments and look what it had cost me later down the road. It cost me my village's people, my likely family, and my UN official grandson," screamed Hiruzen as he stomped on Orochimaru's back. Hearing a crunch from his ex-student's back, he continued to snap his spine with multiple stomps, before he started to feel the effects from the Kusanagi again. Orochimaru quickly went through some hand signs, ignoring his excruciating pain as it only grew with each second. Finishing his hand signs, he watched as his Sound 4 dropped the barrier around him and Hiruzen before teleporting to him with a Shunshin and quickly reverse summoning him and then back to his village. The Anbu stationed around the field instantly tried to give chase to Orochimaru and his ninjas before seeing them disappear. Refocusing on their efforts, they quickly grabbed the Hokage by the arms, only to hear him speak. "Grab Naruto Uzumaki's body. If he is somehow still alive, Bring him to the Anbu hospital, said the Hokage as he stared towards Naruto's unmoving body for a few seconds before being shunshined towards his personal hospital room that had the best medics in the village working there. One of the few Anbu there walked towards Naruto's still body before placing a hand on his chest trying to see if he was indeed dead. Do bump. Do bump. Do bump. The Anbu reared his hand back in shock. Naruto Uzumaki was still alive. The Anbu quickly looked towards two colleges of his. Bird, snake. Pick up Naruto Uzumaki and take him towards the Anbu hospital. He is in critical danger right now, his heartbeat very weak, but still there, said the Tiger Anbu as he pointed towards Naruto's prone body, only to hear someone within the group mutter out how they shouldn't save the demon and just let him die. Tiger turned to the operative and stared at him for a few seconds, before smashing a knee into his gut and knocking him out. Tiger turned back towards the group of Anbu. Go! Screamed Tiger as he watched them start to move. In the arena. In the middle of the arena, there was a puff of smoke. Yo, are we on it? Kakashi stopped as he noticed that no one was there. Blinking to himself, he must have went a day early or something. Turning towards Sasuke with an eye smile, he pointed his thumbs up. Well, Sasuke, looks like we have more time to train. With that, Kakashi grabbed Sasuke by the shoulder before sunshining back towards his secret training ground. Hospital? Where am I? Thought Naruto as he slowly opened his eyes and instantly covered them due to the brightness. Allowing his eyes to adjust to the brightness within the room, he slowly sat up and looked around, only to come to the conclusion that he was in the general hospital, again. When Naruto tried to stand up, he felt a shock run through his system and a massive pain in his shoulder. Looking down towards his right shoulder, Naruto just stared blankly at the wrappings around his entire chest and stomach. Thinking back to his injuries, he remembered himself taking the Kusanagi through both the stomach and the right lung while helping his Gigi in battle. His Gigi. He passed out before he could help, although he felt something was different within him. Grabbing the edge of his bed, Naruto started to push himself onto his 2 feet. Letting go of the bed, he started to slowly walk towards his hospital room door. Reaching out with his right hand, he grabbed the doorknob before slowly twisting it open as his wrist was sore for some odd reason. Sticking his head out, Naruto looked both directions before slowly walking out of his room. When he was younger, if he was caught sneaking out of the hospital, he would have many ninjas throw him back in there under Hokage's orders. It sucked because it was boring in the hospital. Walking down the long walkway, Naruto took a second to look out of the nearby window and watched Konoha shining with just a bit of rubble here and there, although the gates around Konoha was pretty damaged. Turning his head back towards the walkway, he used the wall next to him to support him as he walked through the hallway. Closing his eyes for a moment, Naruto started to sense chakra signatures spread all around the village. Locking onto the largest chakra signature, he opened his eyes and started to walk forward only to see a ninja appear in front of him with a shunshine. The ninja was obviously a woman as her body was amazingly shaped. The most distinguishing feature of the Anbu woman was her long purple hair. The Anbu with the Nico mask looked at Naruto for a bit, before placing a hand on his shoulder and shunshined him towards the Hokage tower. Hokage office. Hiruzen watched as a poof of smoke and leaves appeared in the middle of his office. Once the leaves and smoke cleared, there stood Naruto Uzumaki and Anbu Nico. Hiruzen looked towards Naruto's state of dress, which was just the regular hospital gown that was administered to all patients. He chuckled to himself that Naruto hadn't noticed his dress yet. Ah! What the hell? Screamed Naruto as he looked down at himself to see a hospital gown on him. The Anbu Nico's shoulders were moving slightly up and down, giving off that she was laughing slightly. Hiruzen grinned before nodding towards Nico, giving her the order to go back into position. With a replying nod, she jumped into one of the darkened corners and disappeared. Well, she just sat there. Hiruzen stood up while holding his right hip slightly as he walked towards Naruto. When he reached Naruto, he wrapped him up in a hug, which Naruto returned. When the hug stopped, Hiruzen clicked his fingers and a replica of Naruto's new cloths appeared, along with his old jumpsuits. Hiruzen looked towards all the ceilings and nodded, making the 4 Anbu there appear. He then looked back towards Naruto and smiled. "Your choice," he said as he went to wait outside the office. Naruto got what he meant. He could become a ninja, or be like he used to be. A clown. It wasn't that hard of a choice. Naruto walked towards his carefully folded replica of his cloths from the Chunin exams final. Quickly putting his black long sleeve shirt and baggy pants, he looked for the jacket but noticed it wasn't there. Along with his fox mask. Walking outside, he saw his Gigi smile a proud smile at him and also got 4 nods from the Anbu at his choice. Naruto nodded back towards the Anbu and looked at his Gigi seriously. "Where's my jacket and fox mask?" asked Naruto as he watched the Hokage raise his eyebrow at him for that question, as he wasn't expecting Naruto to ask about his fox mask. Hiruzen looked towards one of the Anbu and made a few hand signs behind his back. With a nod from the Anbu, he quickly disappeared to do what his Hokage had told him. Looking back at Naruto, Hiruzen grinned. "I don't know, Naruto, but would you like to come with me to the council room?" asked the Hokage. Getting a shrug from Naruto, they both began to walk towards the council room, with the Hokage noticing Naruto's slow but easier walk. It seemed that Naruto was healing while walking. As Hiruzen and Naruto were walking, the Hokage turned towards Naruto with a small smile. "So, how was training with 3-Kage?" asked Hiruzen casually as he saw Naruto widen his eyes to maximum proportion and quickly turn his head towards his Gigi. "How?" asked Naruto as he noticed that his Gigi wasn't angry at all even though he kinda took some things. "I saw through the crystal ball of your training at times. Good job, by the way. Maybe in a few years you could actually gain the title of Hokage," said Hiruzen as he and Naruto walked towards the council room. Naruto looked towards Hiruzen before shagging his now not painfully bad shoulders and upper body. "So you know that I stole my parents' scrolls along with going through the forbidden scroll again, right?" said Naruto as he kept looking forward, not noticing his Gigi widen his eyes similar to how Naruto had a few moments ago. Hiruzen was gaping. He thought that Naruto only managed to accidentally get the 3-Kages to help him, and that was a shock. He thought that only Minato's scroll would appear if Naruto swiped blood onto the pictures, and now he finds out that Naruto had taken his parents' scrolls and looked through the forbidden scroll again. How did he do that? Finally reaching the council room, Naruto and Hiruzen walked through the door going to the Hokage podium. Hiruzen looked at Naruto for a bit, deciding if he should do what he was going to do. Finally deciding, he looked towards Naruto and grinned. "Naruto, sit at the Uzumaki clan seat," said Hiruzen, making all the council members look at him in shock. Naruto looked to the seat that was in between the Nara clan head and the Hyuga clan head. Walking towards the seat, he sat himself down, ignoring the mutterings around him, although he made the seat a little bigger using his Makuten, so that he would be able to properly see. Hiruzen nodded towards Naruto, who in turn gave him a thumb up. Hiruzen looked towards the room and started. "We are here today to discuss promotions for a few Chunin who had gone above and beyond what was expected of them. So the names are Shikamaru Nara, Shino Aburame and Naruto Uzumaki," said Hiruzen. As he tried to start the voting, he was interrupted by a civilian council member. "What about Uchiha-sama and my daughter? They deserves the promotion," screamed a banshee or a woman with pink hair and green eyes, similar to Sakura Haruno. Naruto was holding his ears as well as most of the other shinobi, although Naruto and Tsume had the worst of it as their heightened senses picked up on the sound. Hiruzen's eyes started to twitch before sighing. "And why should I promote Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno?" asked Hiruzen only to regret asking as the woman opened her mouth once again. "Because Sasuke is an Uchiha and we need him and the Sharingan back, and my daughter because she defeated a clan child," shouted the copy of Sakura as she slammed her fist down onto the table. Just before Hiruzen could reply, Naruto moved his hand up. "Could I place a volume control seal on her? My ears are bleeding along with hers," said Naruto as he tilted his head to the left and spilt some blood onto the Hyuga head, which in turn looked at him in hate. Hiruzen looked towards Tsume and indeed saw that Tsume, the Inuzuka clan head, was indeed bleeding out of her ears from Hakuri's voice, Nodding, he saw Naruto disappear and slap a seal on the back of Hakari and then reappear back in his seat. "What did you do to me, demon?" said Hakari as she attempted to scream, only to find that she couldn't. At that moment, everyone in the council started to worship Naruto without him knowing, before getting over it. Hiruzen then answered Hakari's previous question. Sasuke doesn't deserve the position as he hadn't even turned up for the Chunin exams and Sakura had drew against a clan child, but that also wouldn't have given her the position of Chunin as Chunin need tact, skill and leadership," said Hiruzen. "Okay, now Shikamaru Nara all four?" 3/4 of the council risen their hands as they had heard he managed to lead a small group of Junin to help minimize damage around the academy and prevented the fall of a medical team who were passing by under attack. "Next on the agenda in Shino Aburame," said Hiruzen as he watched 1/4 of the council put their hands up. It was known that Shino also helped with Shikamaru, just not as much, although most of the medical team did continue living due to a very smart bug clone squad, which was made out to be the medical team. Hiruzen then nodded towards Naruto. "And finally Naruto Uzumaki," said Hiruzen as he watched both the shinobi and civilian side of the council didn't raise their hand at all. Naruto looked at them with a little bit of wonder, before shrugging. There was always field promotion or other methods. Hiruzen raised his eyebrow at everyone keeping their hands down for Naruto's promotion, wondering why. He voiced his concern. "And why shouldn't Naruto get promoted?" asked Hiruzen as he watched the Hyuga head stand up. From what all his previous record, he was nothing but a prankster in the dead last of his generation. Now while I had indeed seen his Chunin exams fights, they were obviously staged as not even I could defeat Neji that fast. Hiruzen tilted his head before looking towards Shikaku Nara. The man stood up and gave a sigh. Naruto Uzumaki's personality and characteristics don't show a competent leader at all, and he does not show any ounce of tactics, which could get his team killed," said Shikaku. Hiruzen started to think about how Naruto not only saved them, but indirectly take out their opponent's Jinchuriki and saved him from dying at the hands of his senseis and student. Naruto sighed. Looks like his personality that Tobirama had pointed out was definitely going to haunt him later on in life. Stupid sensei knowing everything. Hiruzen then looked towards his ceiling and nodded. He watched as a figure landed straight into the middle of the room. "Anbu Tiger, should Naruto Uzumaki gain the promotion of Chunin?" asked Hiruzen as he watched Tiger get ready to talk. "Yes, he should. He not only battled and defeated 2 opponents with ease, he also breached a flame formation barrier, which should have burnt anyone to a crisp at contact, and he then helped the Hokage battle weakened versions of Hashirama-sama and Tobirama-sama. Then helped Sandaime-sama with Orochimaru and even took 2 sword stabs from Orochimaru to help Sandaime-sama. Personally, I would just have him join Anbu," said Tiger, as he felt his Anbu commander Dragon shake his head in agreement. Gasps were heard throughout the council room. Naruto Uzumaki as an Anbu? What's next, the Sandaime actually accepting? The Sandaime actually thought about it for a moment, before calling the Anbu commander out. "Dragon, come out and state whether or not should Naruto Uzumaki join the Anbu Corps," said Hiruzen as he watched his Anbu commander appear within a moment's notice. The Dragon Anbu was silent for a few moments before speaking. "I think that Naruto Uzumaki should be implemented into Anbu. His skills are quite high compared to how he was 31 days ago, which brings me to wonder what he did. However, I recommend he join Anbu," said the dragon masked man as he then looked towards his Hokage. Naruto was just absorbing it all in. He might get recommended for Anbu. He might be given training for the best of the best. Hiruzen started to think. Anbu wasn't the best for a child, but he knew Naruto would pull through. However, there was the thing about Naruto now being the center of attention after the whole Chunin exams. Maybe. Yeah, that could work. As he was about to speak, the Hyuga head Hyashi stood up and slammed his hands down onto the table. "This is ludicrous," shouted Hyashi as he looked towards his right, looking straight at Naruto with his Byakugan active. "Aren't you taking his personality and mission reports in? He was a problem in everything, in his skills against the 2 previous Kage and Orochimaru? Preposterous. It would be impossible for someone of his caliber to be that good," said Hyashi as he sat back down. ignoring the Hokage sending him a slight glare. Turning back to Naruto, he grinned. From now on I promote Naruto Uzumaki with. Special Anbu, said the Sandaime Hokage as he stared into his council. Have you finally lost the plot? Gigi, there's no such thing. Asked Naruto as he stared at his Gigi with a tilt of his head as he saw his Gigi start to twitch his eye. The Sandaime watched as some of his council started to talk about him behind their hands. The sad part, it was the shinobi who were doing it. Sighing to himself, he started to explain. I had thought of the idea just now, Naruto, so no, I am not losing the plot as you said. Special Anbu is a rank that would give you both regular shinobi benefits and some Anbu benefits. The benefits would be higher access to missions, better pay, and higher entrance to the shinobi library along with being able to train in Anbu facilities. Your duties, however, will be split between being a regular shinobi and part-time Anbu, understand? Asked Hiruzen as he watched Naruto's face go through several different emotions. The first was shock, then joy, then excitement, then realization, then slight sadness, before it morphed into acceptance, before turning to confusion again. There's a shinobi library? Asked Naruto, only make the clan heads mentally agree with themselves that Naruto wasn't fit to become a higher rank than Junon. The Hokage nodded with a slight grin. The shinobi library never gained much attention or people, due to it being a library, and so the only ones who really went there were Jonin who were stuck on something and Chunins who wanted to know some things about the previous Jonin exams. Naruto nodded, remembering to check the library out, before staring back at the Hokage with his shining eyes that were brimming with determination. I accept. And I swear as Naruto Uzumaki. As a ninja of Konoha. I will not let anything happen while it is under my watch, said Naruto as he placed a closed fist onto his chest, right where his heart was. Hiruzen nodded before closing the meeting. Naruto's apartment. So bored now. Maybe a game of shogi would do. Nah, when I versus a clone it doesn't work out as it always ends with a draw as they were the same person. Maybe some more Fuinjutsu practice. Yay, that sounded good, thought Naruto as he opened his fridge and grabbed a sack of mixed berries that he had found in the forest. Shutting his fridge door and walking towards his living room with a mouthful of mixed berries, Naruto went towards a small table/cupboard and opened the third drawer, which was the lowest one, and pulled out a scroll labeled Fuinjutsu Studies, Advanced Volume 1 to 10. The book was all about how to start creating/planning your own Fuinjutsu. Currently Naruto was only on the first chapter. Although most people would call Naruto a Fuinjutsu master after seeing how he was able to use Fuinjutsu to 1. Beat Gaara and 2. Break through a flame barrier, he was only a beginner who had finished the beginner book and used his created chakra density jutsu to make seals appear anywhere he wanted. Naruto sent some chakra into the scroll and watched as the first volume of the book appeared. Holding the book in his hands, Naruto created 5 cage bushins. Poof! Sir! Said the cage bushins loudly as they each held their book in a salute. Naruto just had a small sweat drop down the side of his head. They sometimes were too much like his old self. How did anyone put up with him? Okay, so you are all going to read volume 1 while I go and start doing some training, maybe I might even check the library. So remember to spell when you are able to memorize the entire book. I can still only do this with 5 clones, but I'm sure I will be able to finish the other volumes in a week or 2, so get cracking. Said Naruto as he walked towards his front door and opened it just enough for him to walk through. Shutting the door behind him, he looked down to see a box along with some sort of map. Placing the map aside, he opened the box and came to a sight. His fox mask. Exactly colored like his old one, white base with red markings and a black nose. Under his fox mask there was his Anbu uniform along with his Chunin jacket. Slipping on his Chunin jacket, he picked up the map before jumping to the roof right across from him. Looking down towards the map, he saw that the map led towards an abandoned sector of the village, which hadn't recovered from Kyuubi's attack, which luckily was at the edge of the village so no one really needed to go there. Reading the map more carefully, he noticed a few words at the bottom of the scroll. Don't get caught. Don't get caught. Anbu, that must be it. The letter was probably directions to Anbu HQ, but they might have changed it so that it was a recruitment test. Naruto looked towards the abandoned sector, and grinned. "Well, Anbu. Game on," said Naruto before jumping towards the abandoned section of the village. "Council room." What?" shouted Kakashi as he looked at the Hokage and the council. He had just found out that he had missed an invasion and that Naruto would no longer be a part of Team 7, due to getting a special promotion. Kakashi was in shock right now. He thought that the Chunin exams would go for at least 3 hours, but apparently Naruto had defeated Neji so quick and everyone else had simply surrendered. But what about Sasuke? You all know that he would have won his match," said Kakashi, trying to have his most successful student turn into a Chunin so that he could have Sasuke as an apprentice, as he thought Naruto's promotion was just something the Hokage told Naruto to keep him happy. Hiruzen looked at Kakashi with a disappointed stare. Here he was trying to get Sasuke promoted and was ignoring Naruto and his other student. Kakashi. Get out. End of discussion. Sasuke Uchiha will not get promoted. This council meeting is dismissed. Secret training area. Flash step. Throughout the clearing there were multiple flashes of gold before it finally stopped in the middle of the clearing. Huff, huff, huff. Okay, so making chakra into a physical form is taxing, while the actual travel isn't all that much. Maybe I could make a seal that condenses air molecules so that I don't have to huff, huff, summon chakra into a dense physical layer under my feet each time while in the air, muttered Naruto to himself as he was trying to finish his flash step and make it more reliable instead of just a few steps. Lying on the ground, Naruto opened his Chunin vest and grabbed the Anbu HQ map and looked at it. It was simple and straight to the point. Get to the objective without being caught, and he had a time limit of 5 days. How did he miss the time limit? Naruto moved the scroll onto the grass beside him as he looked towards the clear blue sky, letting all his chakra flow through him. Shutting his eyes, Naruto focused on the life around him, feeling each and every living thing within the forest and river. Suddenly, Naruto felt something else along the creatures around him. It felt pure like nature itself. The energy was floating all around him and even under him. Drawing the energy, he felt peace overcome his senses, before snapping out of it when he opened his eyes to see a small fox jump on his stomach. Scratching the little fella behind the ears, he watched as it yipped at him, before running off towards the forest. Naruto then thought back to the feeling he felt, the peace he felt when he absorbed some of the energy. Was that what peace would feel like? Would everyone have a chance to feel like that sometime in their life? Could that feeling be shared by everyone? Naruto held on to the feeling he had felt for a few moments before standing up and grabbing his scroll. If peace truly felt like that, then everyone should be able to feel it, thought Naruto as he started to walk towards the abandoned section of Konoha. An hour later we find Naruto standing just before the abandoned area. Naruto closed his eyes as he felt chakra signatures in front of him by a few meters. Naruto moved his chakra around for a bit before releasing a breath and opening his eyes. Then he disappeared, shocking the hidden Anbu as they saw nothing but a flash before he disappeared. When Naruto reappeared, he had landed on top of a small building. Moving his hand towards the wall to his right, he started to send chakra pulses through the stone wall. He could have used his sensory abilities, but it required him to focus and remain still as it is not trained enough. Sure, he could use it to sense a mile radius, but he hadn't had any training that lets him use it subconsciously and on the run. Feeling through the wall to Anbu, who had seemed to shuffle slightly when he sent the chakra pulse. He knew that they could instantly teleport to the HQ and report that he was here since the test had started when he entered. Naruto came to one conclusion: to knock them out. Now Naruto wasn't stupid anymore. He knew that if he fought two Anbu head-on he would be killed or defeated almost instantly. So Naruto decided to use a new technique he had created called phase, which, like the title of the name, allows him to phase through any solid object. However, this would alert any sensor Anbu within the area if he took too long. However, due to his chakra blanketing a good 50 or so meters, it would take them a while to find him. Naruto started to send chakra through his body, and then started to make his chakra move faster and faster within himself. Reaching an extremely high chakra velocity, Naruto made all that chakra come to the surface. If people saw Naruto now, they would only see his general shape as his body was vibrating at an astonishing rate. Naruto walked towards the wall, before simply passing through. The way this technique works is vibrating himself so that he could go through any surface as long as he was vibrating at his current rate. Tobirama had said that it was due to the phenomenon called quantum tunneling. A side effect from vibrating his body fast was the fact that he could also move at an insane speed, although that depleted his chakra at a very fast rate, the most he could run with the speed he gains from. The technique was 5 seconds. Although he managed to travel from Konoha to all the other major villages. But when he had returned he passed out for a few days. Naruto looked at the two Anbu, who had not noticed him behind them as he was now pure kinetic energy for the next few seconds as he stopped pumping chakra into himself to keep his vibration. With precise hand movements, he swiftly incapacitated the two Anbu agents, targeting specific pressure and paralysis points on their backs. Although they would recover soon, Naruto took a moment to calm himself. The intense vibrations had ceased, but they had left his heart racing dangerously. Thanks to the Kyuubi's chakra fortifying his organs in his youth, he avoided fatal outcomes like heart attacks or organ ruptures during such intense physical states. Taking a deep breath, Naruto leaned against the nearby wall, channeling chakra to soothe his agitated body. Suddenly, a faint signal caught his attention from beneath the current building. Focusing his chakra, he sensed activity in a concealed structure below. Realizing the strain on his reserves from earlier exertions, Naruto refrained from sustaining the high-speed vibrations. Instead, he allowed his feet to merge with the ground, phasing through it effortlessly. Descending through floors, he landed on a metallic platform, immediately detecting a singular presence nearby. As he opened his eyes, he was met with a surprising sight, a dense yellow gas cloud. Before he could react, he collapsed onto the metallic surface. Standing over Naruto was Dragon, the Anbu commander. Observing Naruto's condition, Dragon signaled for two Anbu agents, Nico and Tiger, who promptly appeared and saluted. "Report," Dragon commanded, his gaze shifting between Naruto and his subordinates. Nico stepped forward, assessing the situation. He performed admirably, considering his status as a potential recruit. Only triggering 2 out of the original 200 silent alarms and incapacitating the alerted Anbu speaks of his capabilities, she reported, studying Naruto's unconscious form with a hint of curiosity. Acknowledging her assessment, Dragon instructed, "Prepare him for the next evaluation," before departing for his office. Nico and Tiger nodded in unison, lifting Naruto and using Sunshine to transport him to his next trial. I hope you found this content engaging and enjoyable. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Gratefully, Anime Dreams.